Hey y'all. Earlier today, I went live. And earlier today, I made a post. I'm going to read it to y'all for those of you who did not see it. Hey y'all. Say hi to me. I can't see comments on here yet. There we go. Hey Valerie. All right. I made a post earlier today, and we're going to talk about this. It is the single most detrimental thing you can do to yourself and to your life. We're going to talk about it. So earlier, my post said, please stop getting so focused on things that are out of your control that you lose sight of all the amazing things you have to be grateful and feel joyful for. Stop letting the devil take over your mind. You are blessed beyond measure. He can't do anything about that, but he can convince you that you aren't, that you're lacking in some way. It's a lie. Who said things were supposed to be a certain way? What if God's plan is so much bigger and better for you, but you can't see it because you're trapped in the devil's game? What if everything's going exactly as planned for your greater good? Surrender, free yourself. All is as all should be. Heal, baby. So I want to talk to y'all about this. First, I'm going to talk about my own personal story. When I got divorced, after being married for 13 years, I was married 19 years old. By the time we were 30, we were filing for a divorce. Divorce wasn't final for another 2.5 years. And I want you to know, I sat in depression. I sat in being miserable. I sat in this place of feeling like my life was completely over because that was the only life I knew since I was 19. Actually, before 19, we got married at 19. We was already living together when we got married. So it was all I knew my whole adult life. I was, of course, I already had kids and all that when we were getting divorced. And I remember the thing that I kept saying was that it's not supposed to be this way. Not me. Not me. Right? I was never supposed to be a baby mama or a single mom or be broke or, any of that shit. Any of the stuff that I found myself in at that moment, in that time, that was never supposed to be my life. I just kept saying that. This is not supposed to be my life. I didn't do anything to deserve this. And I sat in that. One night, I got really, really angry with God. Angry. And the same way that I keep it real with y'all, I keep it real with God. And I literally was in my room crying and yelling at God. How could you let this happen to me? I did everything right. I'm a good person. I don't hurt people. This is not supposed to be my life. It was not supposed to be like this. I believed you. I believed in you that you were going to turn this around, that you was going to fix this. How could you let this happen to me? But I kept saying this is not supposed to be like this. This is not supposed to be my life. I kept saying that to God. And God said very clearly to me, says who? Says who? And I just froze. And of course, I sat down, I thought about that, says who? What if all of these years I have been living the life that I made happen, not the life God wanted for me? Did I get here through my own might, despite all the red flags, despite all the feeling of unworthiness, despite my low self-esteem, despite all the things that I knew weren't right about this, but I insisted that it had to be this way. Was it my own ego? What was it? Because when I sat and was honest with myself about it, I knew that it wasn't God. And so in that moment of says who, it became very clear to me that God had intervened in my life because God got tired of me doing shit my way and not his. He showed up and showed me who the boss was, and there was nothing I could do. I was either going to surrender to it, take heed from it, learn from it, grow from it, or I was going to stay miserable for a very long time, insisting that I knew better than God, that I was more capable than God. That moment of says who, it is the single most transformative, pivotal moment of my entire life. Yesterday, I was on the phone with a girlfriend of mine. We've been good friends for, I don't know how long, 8, 9, 10 years. But you know she's a good friend time. If you come to my house and eat crabs with me, we sisters for life, okay? So, but we were talking. And she's been dealing with a lot of health issues. It's just been a lot. It's just like always something happening in her life. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not brushing this off anymore. I'm not sweeping this under the rug. I'm going to address her head on about what the hell is going on with her and her life and how did she get here to where she's sick all the time. You know, she's not enjoying life. She's in the house like a hermit, shriveling up, dying. Like, what the fuck? We're going to talk about it today. I'm not holding no punches. We're going to talk about it today because you're my friend. I'm tired of seeing you suffer. And it traced all back after, you know, me prodding and pushing and getting her to dig deeper. It all stemmed from her belief. Somewhere in her life, she adopted this belief. And what I told her was that the devil planted a seed in your head that said to her, if you cannot have children, then you are less than a woman. If you cannot have children, then your body as a woman is betraying you. If you cannot have children, then you'll never know unconditional love. Like all of this shit about what it means to be a woman or a mother. And she has not had children of her own yet. And the constant living in that constant state of lack has created disease, literal disease in her body. It has stunted her life in so many areas of her life because that one seed got planted that told her she was supposed to be a mother. She has turned that seed that got planted into a hate for her body, literally hating her body and feeling like her body betrayed her in some way. So if you have that, if you're putting that kind of hatred onto your own body, you're going to manifest that hatred from your body in ways that don't feel good, that leave you sick, on bed rest, all of that, right? All because she was convinced at some point that she had to have kids. And as we talked about it more, I said, what if you were never meant to have kids? What if that was never God's plan for your life? Or what if it wasn't? What if that was just a seed that the devil planted? Because the devil knows the amazing plan that God has for your life. And he knew if he could fuck with your head about that thing that wasn't meant for you to have and distract you for 2 decades now, that he could keep you away from the amazing, abundant, prosperous plan that God does have for you. What if that is what's going on here? And then we start talking more. And I asked her, okay, so let's say this. Let's say that you definitely cannot have kids, and that's just how it's going to be for the rest of your life. How many more years are you going to spend being miserable about that? Or is it time for you to adopt anew what life is supposed to be like for you? It's time to come to grips with it. Come to terms with it. Is it time for you to say, you know what? Regardless of any circumstance that's happening around me, the things that are beyond my control, I am worthy of living a life that makes me feel good, of being proud of my body, of taking care of my body, loving myself. See, if you looked at your body the way you look at a kid, you can't consistently beat up a kid, beat them down physically and emotionally, and then say you love them. So the same thing applies to yourself. So it's time for you to sit back and think, what if I'm wrong? And ask yourself the beliefs that you have. Like, who told you? Who said that you were going to join Bye Belly and that you were supposed to have massive success from day one? Who said? You. Who said that you were supposed to be married? Who said that you weren't supposed to get a divorce? Who said that you weren't supposed to lose the job that you love so much? How do you know that any and all of this is not a part of God's perfect plan for you? Who said? You? You? Because I believe in a God that is more powerful than me and any and everything around me. And if something wasn't supposed to happen in my life, I know a God that loves me enough to stop it from happening. You have to decide if you have been unfair to yourself and to God in thinking you know better than him about what's meant for you and what's not. Says who? Says who? And I want you to come to terms with this too. I made another post later on today that said, I will love, play, I will love, live, and play all out, with or without you. Please believe it. And I want you all to come to terms with whatever you think is out of your control, not happening for you. I want you to stop allowing those things to control your life, to be a dominating force in your life. You can absolutely, what if you cannot have that thing? Okay? If that thing is not showing up, if it's not happening for you, how much longer are you going to allow it to define you, your joy, your happiness, your abundance, and take you away from your purpose? Because you could spend a lot of time focused over here on what's not happening the way you think it's supposed to happen, and you missing the whole boat over here that God got for you, that's going to lead you to a destiny you could have never imagined. But if you don't stop looking over here and what's not happening the way you think it's supposed to happen, you ain't never going to get to where you are supposed to be. So you got to make up your mind that regardless of the circumstances that are happening around me, I deserve to live a life that is prosperous, abundant, fulfilling, where I'm serving where I am living in a purpose, giving back to this world that we live in. Stop waiting for people or things, circumstances to show up or change. You can't attract your good feeling bad about what you don't have, what has not happened, or what won't ever happen. Okay? For all of you single women out there, let me say this: you will never, and never attract your husband as long as you keep crying about not having one. I love you.